Geordie Journos, latest episode. Massive Champions League week. The lads aren't here with me today. Dom and Jordan, they've said they're going to be on location as well. They told me to go out to a Champions League location ahead of the draw on Thursday afternoon. So I brought myself to Mallorca. Can't wait to see if Newcastle need to draw Mallorca. I'll probably take Tenerife as well, something like that maybe. What? They're not actually in the draw, right? Well, I think the lads might have pulled a fast one there. Pulled me leg on this occasion. But anyway, back to the seriousness. Thanks a lot all you guys out there for watching our videos, liking, commenting, sharing. We love everything, and the guys will jump on. I'm just here away with the kids in Mallorca, so I thought I'd send a little video just to see what my ideal Champions League draw would be. Dead easy for me, dead easy. I've spent all summer lauding the fact that I'd love us to get somebody like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, someone who really whet the appetite with regards to European elite, AC Milan even. All I'm saying now, after a bit of a patchy start of the Premier League season, is I want Newcastle to go deep in this tournament, and I want them to get winnable games. So I will take the easiest possible group, whatever that may turn out to be. There's still so many permutations on what it could be and couldn't be, but I will take the easiest group possible. That's all I'm saying on the matter. I'll probably take a Salzburg. I will take a Dortmund from pot 2, which looks like an incredibly difficult pot. Maybe a Braga, somebody like that from a pot 3. And your first one, it's got to be Feyenoord. I think I want the easiest, the path of least resistance for Newcastle to get through, to earn as much money as possible, and to have a little bit of European glamour along the way, but without the glittering names. Because I think what we need to do is get in the mentality that Newcastle United aren't just here for a tourist trip, a bit like me over here in Mallorca. They're not here for a tourist trip, they're here to stay. And I want to take that mentality into these European games, that Newcastle United are here to stay. We will play all of the big teams that we need to play in the future, but not this season. Let's see, this season, with probably arguably the weakest squad we'll have going into this tournament, I think I want to play the easiest games possible, until of course we get something hopefully glamorous in the 16 or 8.
So it's not quite Mallorca like Liam, but Wallsend will do for me. I say sunny Wallsend. It was meant to be sunny today, I think, but as I've started recording this video, the heavens have opened. But anyway, on to the Champions League group stage draw. As you can tell by the beaming smile on my face, I'm not usually one to smile, but I'm really excited about Thursday night and what the draw might bring for Newcastle United. My preference is I would like one glamour tie, a standout name for me, Real Madrid at St James's Park. Just picturing that now, that would be amazing. To have a team that they've never played in Europe before. We've had Barcelona twice before at St James's Park, but Real Madrid, arguably the biggest club in Europe, certainly the most successful club in Champions League history. So Real Madrid, I'm sticking my neck on the line for that one, hopefully. But if not, then a glamour tie alongside that, maybe a PSG, or as I say, I would take a Barcelona. I don't want to be too picky. So going into pot 2. Real Madrid would be pot 2, pot 1. So I'm looking at pot 1. I want an easy draw from pot 1, preferably. Feyenoord's a team I'm looking at. I don't want to be too disrespectful to the Dutch champions, but I do look at that tie and think it is winnable both home and away. And of course, their memories of many years ago now, at least it feels that way. Probably doesn't to some of you watching out there, but I was only a little Ben when Craig Bellamy scored in Feyenoord late on. So yeah, I think that would be a nice nostalgic place to go to, and logistically as well, I think it is one of the more easier destinations to get to in terms of travelling. Now into pot 3, again I would like a tie that I think Newcastle can win. Again, this is the Champions League, so these games aren't guaranteed victories, but in pot 3 I'm looking at Braga, a nice trip to Portugal. And the second one is RB Salzburg, which I managed to visit Salzburg when Newcastle last pre-season when they went out there for the tour. I really like Salzburg as a city, very picturesque, so I would quite like to go about there. But I just want a group where we've got a tie that says this is Champions League football. Feels like Real Madrid because they are, say, the most successful team in Europe, and then ties beyond that where I can look at Newcastle winning enough games and I'll get enough points to get out of the group, because yeah, we want to enjoy the journey, but you know, we all want Newcastle to get out the group as well and getting this advance into this competition as far as possible.
So yeah, apologies for the more beige background than what Liam was offering, but looking ahead at my dream Champions League group stage draw, I've taken into account a few things. Newcastle obviously haven't been in the Champions League for over 20 years, so there's the element of you're not there every season, you want to make it count, but also you want to play some of the best teams as well. And I think Newcastle are capable of making an impact. I think whoever get drawn in a group with Newcastle, it's going to be seen as a difficult tie. It could potentially be a group of death for Newcastle, if you like, because I don't think any other team from any other pot would want Newcastle as their pot 4 team. There's a difficult tie, and I think Newcastle are capable of getting out the group, depending on how the draw goes. But my dream draw, I think Newcastle would certainly be capable of getting out of, but it also presents some great away days as well and some great teams to play. Pot 1, obviously, on paper should be the toughest pot, but I've gone from arguably the easiest team from that pot, or the most beatable team, and that's Feyenoord, the Dutch champions. I think there's the history there, playing Feyenoord the last time Newcastle were in the Champions League, arguably one of Newcastle's greatest ever Champions League games, or European games in general. There's the history, and going across to Rotterdam, either on the ferry, flying over, it could be a real great occasion, as well as a very winnable one over the 2 games as well. And then for the pot 2 team, I've gone in the complete opposite direction and gone with Real Madrid. Newcastle never played Real Madrid before, and you think of the Champions League, Real Madrid are the quintessential Champions League team. They've won it 14 times. They're probably the team everyone wants to play as, like a tourist mentality, obviously. If you're in it every year, you probably want to avoid Real Madrid, but Newcastle getting Real Madrid, hosting them under the lights at St James's Park, for the first time, that would just be magical for me from that Newcastle perspective, albeit a very, very difficult tie. And then the third team, again, I've gone a bit more down the middle, mixture of both. Another visit to a stadium Newcastle know well from the last time in the Champions League, but a different club. Going to the San Siro, AC Milan as the pot 3 team, I think stands out to me. Honourable mention to Copenhagen, who could progress in the playoffs as well. That would be a good away day. But AC Milan, again, they've won the competition so many times. A bit like Real Madrid, but a lighter version in terms of it's a much more winnable game. There's also the Sandro Tonali factor as well to take into it. And going to Milan, going to the San Siro, coming back, that would be great. And I think you're looking at that group, it's competitive, it's exciting, and it's also very winnable, or at least Newcastle would have a decent chance of getting out of it. So I think that for me would be a great group for Newcastle in the draw. So Feyenoord, Real Madrid, AC Milan and Newcastle United.